What's up, guys? Adam back again with the RV Returners for the last Opus VIII review. This is going to be a fairly short one. It's going to be the light and the dark cards. Again, I'm joined by Chris for the last one.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. We got there. So yeah, I guess let's just dig in. There's only 4 cards to look at. It's not much, so pretty sure we'll go fast. And then we'll give our thoughts at the end of just general thoughts on the set.
Yeah.
So first up is Medine. It's an 8 CP light summon, category 9.
Beautiful artwork.
Yeah, nice artwork. You can only cast Medine during your turn. If you ever receive 5 points of damage or more, the cost required to play Medine is reduced by 2. Deal 9k to all forwards.
I'll let you lead off on this one, man.
And standard, not quite as good. You can do some cool stuff to allow your stuff to survive. Like we talked about the Garnet in the water review, and that also works in title as well.
Yep.
In standard, I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm almost want to give it a 1. I don't really see people playing it. If you really want board wipes or things like that, they're just better older cards to play to do that. I even think Zodiarc's probably better, even though you're gonna take damage.
Yep.
Because this might not kill everything. In title, I think it's a 5 actually.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because of Garnet, you have the ability to kind of make it a one-sided thing. It doesn't target, which is a big deal. And in title, you just don't have access to a lot of board wipes. And even though this isn't a true board wipe, it's pretty much a board wipe, especially if you're playing Melt Gemini.
Yeah, I agree. I think in standard, I'm gonna give it a 1, just because you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. Using this as a board wipe is the equivalent of buying a 757 just to buy free peanuts. There's a lot more cost-effective way to get those peanuts, and I just think this card is just way too expensive, and the fact that it can kill your stuff too. Granted, the other board wipes do kill your stuff too, but I'd rather, if I'm paying that much, I'd rather just pay the 1 more to play Sin and kill everything, or I'd rather just pay 1 less and Shan Toto.
Yeah.
Entitled 100% 5 out of 5. The fact that the way this plays with Garnet is just huge, and it's just good at any point in the game, because if they go wide on you early, you just slam that, they're dead. If you play it late, it's going to cost you less. You slam that, they're dead. And I feel like with Zidane, you'll always be able to pay for it, because I think you'll just be strapped the whole time with cards in hand. So I think the card's really good.
Yep.
Entitled.
Yep. Next up, we got Rain. He's the light legendary. When Rain attacks, till end of turn, all forward you control gain 2,000 power, and all forwards your opponent controls lose 2,000 power. And he has 2 S's. The first S is leadership. All forwards you control gain haste until end of turn, which are just S. And then undermine for S and 2. All forwards opponent control lose 4,000 power until end of turn.
I like this card a lot. His job is super relevant. He's the first light or dark knight, which is huge. The fact that when he attacks, he kind of turns into an Elish Norn, essentially, just buffing all your guys and decreasing all your guys. For some reason, he actually reads when he attacks how I initially thought Shoal was in Opus 5 with Alua.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this card's good, and I think the fact that you can just for S, give everything haste, and at that point you have to kill this guy. But in a night deck with Triton out, Ovelia, it's going to be a tall order, because he's going to be a 9K, and I think the card's really, really solid. I think he belongs in Lightning deck, because he can operate very much like an Alua. Obviously, in night decks, he is 100% going into that, because you can search him off of Dukana. The only downside is that I feel like you have to play 3 of this guy. And, the only other time you're playing multiple copies of these light and dark cards is for something like Yuri, that is just going to take over a game at any point in the game. And the fact that Yuri does something immediately, or you play a card like Galdus that's just stupidly overcurved and is going to do something relevant on the way out. Rain is a slow card unless you have another one of them in your hand, or can just grab another one whenever you need to. So I think he's good. I don't know how good he is yet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give him a man, I can see myself giving him a 4, because I do think he's a powerful card, but I think I'm going to go with a 3, because I feel like he can be a little clunky.
Yeah, I'm going to, yeah. And then in title?
Oh, I think he's a 5, because you're running 6 Reigns. I think this guy's just nuts in Brave Exvius title when the time comes. He will be an immediate 3 of.
Yeah, I think in standard, I'm gonna give him a 4. I think he's got a lot of upside, even if you
Yeah.
have to run like 2 or 3 copies of him. I think he's
Hmm.
gonna shine in like lightning decks probably,
Yep.
just because the searcher is already there. Obviously, in Knights deck, you're gonna feel great about playing this card.
Yep.
Outside of that, not he can do a couple of cool things. Maybe like in mono water. Again, I'm talking
Hmm.
like with that power reduction stuff. So now we're talking like with him and Beatrix. If we're playing Melt Gemini there as well, right? Like
Yep.
now everything's reduced by 3, and like
Yeah.
you have no way to increase them unless you kill my monster. That could be pretty
Mm.
good. I mean, yeah, you lose out on your plus 2k, but
But that's okay because then you just undermine and you just probably win the game on the spot.
yeah, you probably just wipe the board.
Yep.
It also combos pretty well with Cognazo, right? Like if Cognazo can hit like a 6k, like if you have like an insane board, right?
Hmm.
And then you drop this like, and you're able to do S on top of that. I know that's expensive, but I mean
Hmm.
that could be a potential board wipe.
Yeah.
I think he's just really good. Yeah, and in title, I'll give him a 5 because I think there's no reason not to play him in title.
And you'll have at least 6 reigns to play with.
Yep. Next up is Arc. It's 10 CP Dark Summon, Category 9. You can only cast Arc during your turn. All forwards lose 8,000 power until end of turn. Draw 1 card for each forward whose power becomes 0 due to the previous effect.
Um, I think I honestly I think in title you're probably not playing this. Um, just because it's just so expensive. It's so expensive, and I feel like you're just getting better value out of like Medine.
Mm-hmm.
In standard, I think I really feel like the dream is to jam this off of an Agito, and I feel like that's really the only way you're playing it. Now, granted, if you can get at least 3 forwards, I think is the sweet spot because at that point it's essentially costing you 4,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to pay that initial upfront, investment. Um, I it's tough, but I think off of a Geo, you're just living the dream.
Yeah.
So I think in standard, I'll get and the fact that and you can grab this off Camera, not correct because he grabs all dark cards. I don't know why I'm
Correct.
drawing
Yeah.
a blank
You
on one of
can.
the best cards in the game.
Yeah, you can.
So maybe in maybe the older or more standard Wind Earth decks, you're playing Cam, you're grabbing this, and then on the next turn you're just depending on the state of the board, you're holding onto this, you're slamming a Cheeto, you're playing this, you're wiping their board, you're drawing a card, and then you're just going to move on with drawing multiple cards most likely, and then you're just moving on with the rest of your life. So, and I think in standard, I'm going to give it a 2, just
Okay.
because it is so expensive. And in title, I'll probably give it a 2 again because it's just so expensive, and I don't really know when you're playing this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1 across the board.
Mhm.
I think yeah, like you could do some cool stuff with it, like with Agito, like with Seymour S if you want to go there too.
Mhm.
It is searchable, but like again, like just play Zodiark in those situations. I
Mhm.
think just take the 2 points of damage for the hefty discount you're gonna get. Because if you don't kill stuff with this, like if they're able to boost past it or something like that, you're gonna
Mhm.
feel really awful. And paying the 10 up front is like super hefty. Like
Crippling.
even if you have 5 backups, you're still discarding 3 cards from hand, right? Or
Mhm.
no, yeah, 3 cards from hand plus this. So
Yep.
you have to have at least 4 cards in your hand. Yeah, but obviously like Agito and Seymour I think are the play you want to go with this.
Mhm.
Also, I think it kind of sucks that because of how it resolves, right? If you have anything that's buffed past 8k and then killing their buffers reduces them past and then kills them after, you don't get to draw cards for them. So like if say like a Yida is really big, but you're able to kill enough Scions to drop Yida to 0, because Yida won't hit 0 until after Arc resolves, you won't draw the card for Yida.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of a drawback. I mean, that's how the game works, but it kind of hurts Arc because of that.
Mhm.
Again,
Yeah, I agree.
the art is sweet, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna see much play at all
Yeah, I agree with that.
outside of Mimi stuff.
Mhm.
Next is Veritas of the Dark. This is our last card of the set. It's a 6 CP 8k Brave Exvius. When he enters the field, your opponent selects 1 forward he or she controls and puts it into the break zone, and when it's put from the field into the break zone, your opponent selects 1 character he or she controls and puts it into the break zone.
The more I read this card, the more I like it. I think against decks that can't really go wide, I think he could just be just such a crippling card, especially like earlier in the game. you don't mind, pitching a couple cards to play this, kill the one forward they played. And then now they have to build up and take the licks from this guy because if they try to kill him right after that, they're going to lose the backup they played. Especially if they've got like not much else to play. I think against slower, more fair decks, he's just a blowout. But against like swarmy things and decks that ramp really fast, oh, you don't give a shit about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's good. I think, and I'm gonna start with title because it sucks because now you're this guy's competing with Rain. But on the plus side, like, defending this guy in title, the fact that he says select is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Rain is just a better card because he also doesn't target and he just makes your guys bigger and makes their guys little smaller, which I think is really good against stuff like 12 and 10 and even like even 5 things like that. So I don't think you're playing him in title, but I don't think it's a bad play if you find yourself in a position where you have to play him. So for title, I'll give him a 2, maybe a 3, but I'll go with a 2. In standard, I think I'm gonna give him a 3 because I do think he's good in like maybe ice water decks, decks where your opponent's playing a slower, more fair deck, or so I don't know. I think he's fine. I think he's a 3 in standard, 2 in title.
I'm gonna give him a 2 in standard just because Galdus exists, man. That's my problem. Galdus is a 50% discount on this guy. Yeah, you don't get the forward immediately, but like you're gonna be hard pressed to kill Galdus without Galdus doing something bad to you.
Yeah,
and Galdus has the same power as this card. But I mean, yeah, you could put your opponent in some really awkward situations because it's a one-sided fan for it when he comes in, and then when he goes out, he could potentially like hit backup. So you kind of want to play other stuff that you don't mind losing. He's gonna be worse against other like weenie decks that don't care about losing their stuff.
Yeah.
So like maybe like a Waff aggro, he'll struggle versus that, or like maybe if he played the Mare, like if he's in an Ice Water deck and he play against another Ice Water deck, like if they're just sacking their Vikings, like.
Yeah, you feel great about that, sacking your Vikings to that guy.
Yeah, but I think Water Ice is probably like the place I could see him immediately seeing play, but maybe people do some more creative stuff with him that I could see. But I think in a lot of decks, he'd have to take Galdus' slot, and I just don't see it. In title, I'll give him a 4 just because he's a pretty good alternative to Rain. And I think maybe you could run one of this and like 3 Rain or something and be okay.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, that would put your light dark count up, but. Or maybe you go like 2 Rain, 1 of this guy, since you have the Fire Rain too, right?
Yeah, and potentially more coming down the road because I think you're going to see more Brave Exvius cards before it's a viable title deck.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's all the cards in the set. We've reviewed everything.
So. Yeah, we did this all in one sitting. We're exhausted. No, I'm kidding. We did not. We did this over multiple days. I can't believe I drew a blank on Camelot. He's been around for how long? And I'm like, can you get that?
Yeah, he's Opus 5.
Yeah, I deserve ridicule. So please be relentless on me. No, overall, though, Adam, what do you think of the set?
I think the power level is pretty high. Maybe not quite Opus 5 level, but it's right up there. I think a lot of these cards are going to see play and change the meta and shape it, probably for the better, at least for now. I might change my mind when a couple sets down the road. We'll see. But I like it. I was hoping 7 was going to get more than it got, at least from like a power level standpoint. But other than that, I can't really complain.
Yeah, I can agree with that. As far as the highlights, I think the power level is high on the set. I think it does shake the game to its core. I do think, to me, this felt very much like, to compare it to Magic, like a Ravnica type set, where you were looking for these cross-color synergies that just are meant to kind of play well with each other. And I do think, I'm glad to see 6 finally get some more cards that are all actually kind of solid for the most part. I am bummed that 7 is still kind of like the casual category. Like, I think they got some good cards, your Tifas, your Euphies. I do think the starter cards are fine, but it does kind of have this more of a, hey, you know what, I like Final Fantasy because I grew up with 7. It's the only one that I know and I love it. I'm going to build a deck. And now you can actually build a deck, but it's still going to be a lot more on the casual side. But and who knows? Down the road, the powers of some of these cards could just be amplified. Like like even the Opus 5 cards, like Diabolus and Y'shtola, are powerful. But it wasn't really until the Opus 7 meta that these cards became just insanely good.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple sets down the road, some of the the cards that we think are powerful now may just be absolutely absurd down the road. I have two gripes with the set, only two, and that is we still didn't get Ultros, and then the big problem, and this is a big one. We had a big Final Fantasy IX focus. Why couldn't we get a card for my man Bobby Corwin?
Yeah, I mean, there's no Chocobo in the set at all, actually.
Yeah, why couldn't we have gotten a Bobby Corwin? Is that a crime? Is that asking for too much, Adam? Yeah. Am I asking for too much for my man B. Corwin to show up?
Yeah, my only thing other than the 7 cards is, like, I was surprised we didn't get an Amano Zidane.
Yeah, that is surprising, because all the other ones are Amano art except for Zidane.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I think the set's fun. I'm really, really excited to dig in and play with it. I just my FF Dex is just nutty with lists of things to play. So it's gonna be a real exciting time, and it's actually kind of glad that we're doing a lot more commentary on things as opposed to playing, so we can actually experiment and have fun instead of having to grind out for competitive events. So it's gonna be an exciting time. I'm really, really happy at the way this set turned out, and I know you can agree with me on this, the fact that the set does lend itself very well to the limited environment. And I know that was a legit worry for myself, and I'm sure some other people out there. So the fact that they really nailed it. I would, if we're going to rate the entire set on a star rating, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's absolutely great.
Yeah, I think it's a sweet set. I'll go 4.5 out of 5.
We're doing half stars now. Okay.
I'll cheat it now, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
But yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching these videos. No matter how many of them you watch, we always enjoy that people enjoy our content. Look for a lot more deck techs for a lot of these ideas that we're having in the future. I think we're going to try to pump them out as much as we can without killing ourselves. And then we look forward to seeing everyone for the competitive season for this set. I think it's going to be pretty sweet to watch. So
yeah, so in any video for the sets or this video also, post up in the comments. Let us know what you think overall of the set. Let us know what your favorite cards are. Let us know if you guys, please be vocal. If you disagree with our ratings on any of the videos, please go back and watch them. Just tell us what you think. But again, as Adam nailed it on the head, man. Thanks for watching. We're nothing without you guys.
Yep. See you guys later.